great development. We can have further development, the opportunities for young men. No limit today as there were a few years ago. I think so. Yes, indeed. If the young man makes up his mind to work, there's no limit to what he can do.
Basement Dwellers, episode 2. We are back. Here we are. Tyler, great to see you, buddy.
Nice to see you, Zach and Dylan. How you doing? Good.
Wonderful. All right. So, episode 2. I think we're going to be keeping a lot of the same stuff going as we did last week. We're going to be mixing a few other things up as well.
Yes.
Mixing drinks, too.
Ooh.
That's fun. Right. But before we get started, let's introduce our guest for today, actually.
Yes.
Guest,
Josh Sherrick.
Please.
Hello, Amy and Christina.
Oh, yes.
Someone listened to the last episode. I love it. So Josh actually is a good buddy of ours. A little bit.
He's just always there.
He's just around. He's kind of annoying, really. But
lurking in the back.
We'll glaze over. Yeah, just lurking everywhere. So anyways, Josh we've known for quite a few years now, since high school. Or since 8th grade, actually, according to Josh. So he's here today. He's going to be giving us some of his input on a few of the segments that we have. I know he's got a couple great cars picked out actually for this segment that's going to be coming out, which is great.
Yes.
But before we get too far,
let's talk about what we're drinking.
Yeah, let's talk about what we're drinking, exactly. So we decided that we're going to be starting a new segment where we mix a different specialty cocktail each time we're down here. So instead of just going buying beer, we're going to do something interesting, unique.
Sophisticated.
That's right, advertisers. Listen up. Sophisticated and unique is this show. So today, we kind of screwed ourselves. We made Moscow Mules, which isn't exactly sophisticated and unique, but you know what?
But this cocktail is kind of near and dear to our hearts, Zach, because this is like one of the first cocktails we had together when we went
shared
out.
Amongst the candlelight together.
We're bonded.
What was the recipe for this? Dash of vodka, a little bit of
2 shots of vodka,
a few shots of vodka, just a few. It's 2:30, 2:45, and ginger beer, a little bit of lime stuff, and mix it up with a spoon.
I should add that normally ginger beer, when we make these, are non-alcoholic, but Zach decided to bring alcoholic ginger beer.
It's what was in the cabinet, so that's what we're drinking.
So
good luck driving home. But did you want to run over real quick the other thing too we decided to do?
Oh, so we realized that mainly Zach, but I myself can be, and Dylan can be too, Tool.
Josh too, don't.
Josh.
Definitely.
Oh. Come on, he's our guest.
Sorry, Josh.
So we decided at any point during the podcast, if someone says something that you're like, wow, that was such a Tool statement, you have to drink what's in your cup until the other people say you're allowed to stop. And there'll be different trigger type stuff that will be like, all right, start drinking.
Depending on the violation too.
Yeah, and that's depending on how long you'll drink. If it's something stupid,
but not if you're drinking Fireball. So I think there's a little bit of play.
Yeah.
Going on here, and I'm not trying to weasel out this because it's mostly going to be me drinking this stuff, but I'm not trying to weasel out this. I think we mentioned too before we wanted to put up a list on the wall or something of words like
trigger words,
right? So each show will come up with a new trigger word, and anytime that anything on that list is said, the same thing applies.
Oh,
you fall into the same bucket. You're drinking until someone says stop, depending on the trigger word. So what's the word for today?
We'll have to find out. Because you haven't been talking that much.
Maybe we'll wait till the second cocktail and then we'll.
But back to
alcohol, please, as the safe subject.
So
yes.
Zach and I used to always just drink beers. Then we just kind of like introduced ourselves to all these different types of mixed drinks, and
which we kind of keep doing.
I mean, we'll have a few beers, and then one of us finds something cool that we tried on vacation or whatnot. And then we come back and try it together.
Yeah, like that one time we went to Newtown. You're like, hey, just started drinking Jack and Coke. So I was like, all right, well, let's try it. And it ended up being freaking awesome. And now it's like your drink of choice.
Yeah, it's my drink of choice.
Then I started drinking wine, and you started drinking wine. So it's kind of cool, right? You try new stuff and keep kicking the ball around and see what's good. You know, as long as it's not a Lagunitas IPA, I'm perfectly happy.
But then we actually have a funny story about one of the first times Zach and I went out. This was a night that we spent a lot of money. This was a summer that Zach and I went out virtually every Friday
not
night.
Even virtually, dude. It was every single
Every Friday we went to New Hope, and we spent at least around $100 between the both of us.
But was it not awesome? I
it was great.
It was great.
But one of the first times we went out, I had texted Zach out of the blue, hadn't talked to him for like about a year or so since high school, and we decided to go out.
Like, this douche.
So we went to a bar, had a few beers, then we went to another bar, restaurant, and had Moscow Mules, and then Zach decided, let's go to this bar I've heard about, cross the bridge into New Jersey. So we walked across down this alleyway, and there's this bar called the Boathouse, and we're sitting there. The waitress, bartender lady comes, and Zach asks what's on tap, and she was just like, we don't have a tap, I don't know. And I think it's very like, how would you describe the Boathouse?
How do you describe it? Like, my dad called it the most unique bar he's ever been to.
It's literally a very small room with an upstairs, even smaller room. And there's just everything imaginable on the wall.
It's very like nautical, yes.
Yeah,
There's really cool nautical stuff. There's overstuffed leather chairs everywhere. There's like a whole miniature library upstairs. It's a really cool place. And they don't do food. They do barely any beer. If it is, it's bottled. They focus on specialty, like old school cocktails. And I think we did like the Zach and Tyler thing. We both like looked at each other and just like, on the same page? Yeah. Okay. 2 old fashions, please.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be Don Draper. And we had no idea what even goes in the old fashioned. So I believe if I remember correctly, the word was, what do you recommend? Oh, Maker's Mark. Oh, that sounds like it would be good. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I know Maker's Mark. My dad drinks that like all the time. And so we get it. We drink it. At this point, we're pretty much trashed. So it was very easy to go down until we got
Tell them the price, yeah.
The bill for one each was like close to $20, $23.
Dude, it was like 27. It was 27
for one, and we're like, oh my gosh. But at that point, we're pretty trashed, so we really didn't think about it until the next morning.
And then we just stumbled across the bridge and went to the Triumph. I mean, it was fine.
And that's kind of like the relationship Zach and I have when we go out. We're just like
with alcohol, not with each other, with alcohol.
We're like, all right, this is the last one, and then we're walking back to the car, and we're like, all right, one more. And we stopped somewhere else.
Exactly. I don't think, Josh, you've never been to the Boathouse, right? We never took you there?
No.
All right, we got to do it. Well, you don't like mixed drinks usually, don't you?
No, that's the thing. I've never really got onto it. I do like Jack and Cokes.
And Moscow Mules, obviously.
No, I've never had a Moscow Mule. So that's why I'm wondering, like, how does this
this
add
is a
up
terrible
to...
version.
Yeah, don't base
it's actually an awful version of the Moscow Mule. Don't base it on. They're actually really good when made properly.
You made it really well, Zach.
Really?
Yeah, it's good.
You.
But its staple is like putting it in that...
The
like,
copper
mug.
Copper
with
mug.
Shaved ice and everything. We're not shaving ice down
technically,
this
doesn't it give you cancer? What was that whole... Do you know what I'm talking about?
Does alcohol give you cancer?
Yes,
well, then we're screwed.
From the copper.
From the copper,
Yeah, I've heard that.
Maybe it's not actually copper.
Like,
it's just
Like
like
your
cancer.
lead cups.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you even have him on here? Honestly, like he's talking about alcohol giving us cancer.
You can barely fit in the basement.
You can barely fit in the basement. Like, God, it's so annoying. So yeah, let's do the car thing because I we've had a little bit of vodka. I want to talk about cars now.
Okay.
So this week we decided to tweak the little car challenge a little bit. So.
And today, and I don't know if we talked about this, today we're talking about, like, the theme of today would be graduating college, finding your first job.
Progressing through said job.
Yeah, and becoming, like, an actual adult. Like, yeah, when we went to college, we're technically adults. But, like, trust me, when you graduate college, like, that's real adulthood. Like, you have to start paying for stuff and all that. And, so we just what we're talking about today is going to be themed around that, especially towards cars. So like we're going to talk about our first cars that we had and like a couple years down the road, what we would buy when we get like our first big promotion and how we would like picking that car, how we would impress our boss in some ways.
Yeah, so let's start with the first one.
First car? All right.
What was your first car?
My first car, which I still have today, is a 2009 Honda Civic. Her name is Lucy, regardless of what Zach thinks her name is.
As of last episode, I claimed that for my Acura initially, but Tyler just took it, which is fine. He usually copies me. I'm used to it by now.
But I had my car first because I got my license first and all that. But
not true.
But she has almost 100,000 miles on it, and she runs nice. I had to just get a new starter the other day because it wouldn't start. So, but
Yeah, been 9 years it's been. You've had it?
it's gone. It's done pretty well. I haven't really driven it like far distances. Maybe the furthest was like Virginia, but that's about it.
Would you buy a car like for your son or daughter? Like, would you do it again, like for them?
Yeah,
You'd
and
pick
I
a
think
car
that
like
was my dad's like thinking about
Yeah.
getting me that car because like what I was looking at was just like crazy outlandish cars, and he was like, "No, I know exactly which car we're getting. We're gonna go out and we're going today and getting it." And like I know my youngest brother, he's just turned 16. He's gonna start like actually driving by himself soon. And I think that's kind of like in the question. Like Honda is Honda. It's reliable and safe. And you wouldn't want to give like a Subaru STI or WRX to like a 16-year-old.
They haven't earned it yet.
Exactly.
So was that a good thing then? Would you say that like your dad? I'm sure at the time you were like, "Wow, this sucks," but it was a good thing your dad just took all of the decision out of your hands. And just said, "Look, this is what you're getting."
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, and from my opinion, like I mean, it's your car, but in my opinion, I think that's great because you got something that's reliable, it functioned, it got decent gas mileage, and it didn't kill you
Exactly.
over the past 6 years, whatever it's been, however long you've had it. So.
And I've treated like I've ran that car to the ground and it still works. Like as a 16-year-old boy, you're flying down 95 or the bypass, and it's like, and I'm not going fast, but it
Tyler on a regular basis would send me photos of triple digits on a speedometer. My response every time would be like, "Dude, why are you taking a photo doing this?" But how about you, Josh? What was your first sort of car? I actually can't really remember, to be honest.
It was the Accord. The
the
Honda
silver one.
Accord, yeah, 2003. I
Honda.
think it was. It was a coupe, or it still is a coupe. I still drive it.
it was, at one time, it was a coupe.
It was a coupe. We put on the doors just because. But
And you
yeah,
still got it, right?
yeah, I still have
Yeah.
it. I'm driving it right now. But that's the one thing I can't kind of wrap my head around, especially at this point in my life, is how could you afford a car? Because you also have to think about the price. Like your parents buying you a car, they're not going to buy you anything like super pricey
exactly.
because you're super young. And why spend that money? I can't wrap my head around the fact of like buying my kid a car, like having that type of money.
Can't wrap my head around the fact that Josh is a kid in this scenario.
Oh god.
No, you're right though. Like, can you really? You can't be like, "Dad, you got to get me this nicer car" when they're helping you out with it.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's like my brother, he's 16 and he's looking at like $20,000 cars.
Yeah.
Like he wants like a Jeep Wrangler like all souped up because he's like this hillbilly at heart. And I'm like, "You're not getting that, Matthew."
Get him like a 90s Ford truck. Like, he'll be so happy.
And honestly he would, but he just doesn't think like that because he's a 16-year-old boy. He would love like a beater truck, but no, he wants a $20,000 car. But yeah. How about you, Dale? What was your...
I was trying to look it up because I don't really know cars that well. I think it was a minivan. It was my family's minivan that we had for like 10 years.
Yeah,
And so
I
being
remember that, the blue one, right?
Being the youngest, you get the crappiest car, even if you're fortunate enough to get a car. So I think it was a Honda Odyssey. That's how.
Oh, yeah, actually, that sounds familiar. Josh's mom had one of those. I remember that thing.
Yeah.
Still
The
does.
blue one. Did she really? That's
Yeah.
classic.
So picture this. I won't complain because I had a car. I was able to drive, but picking up friends. One time I had a girl I picked up that we drove to high school together. So I picked her up. We're going to high school. It's raining out. Water is dripping from the console up top where it says the temperature, where all the electrical wires are. And she's like, is that safe? And I'm just completely embarrassed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
How about you, Mr. Woods?
So my first car was an '08 Acura TSX. No, I'm not drinking for that because the car was given to me. It's not a douchey thing to say. Okay.
But in
Given
reality,
to
it's
you?
not.
Was it your birthright?
It was my birthright. Yeah.
In reality, that was a 2008 Honda Accord.
In reality, it was 2008 Acura TSX. Okay, because it cost like $8,000 more than your crappy Honda. So, anyways, I actually was at the. I was actually at the dealership.
We'll let that go.
I was actually at the dealership with my dad when he was looking for this car, and he had said his initial plan was to buy this car, drive it himself for a few years, and give it to me. So the whole time I'm like, oh, like this is gonna be nice. Like I'll help him pick something out. You know, like Acura TL with a sport package, with huge wheels and everything. 50 grand. Like this would be perfect car to be driving to high school and everything. And so we actually ended up getting in a loaner like green TL, and he drove it home, and like we had gotten home and he gets out. He's like, no, we're not doing this. Like this is not, you're not driving this. So we entered the TSX, fantastic car though. Honestly, I can only think of like maybe one time where the repairs were actually expensive. For the rest of it, great sound system. I'm not sure if you remember, but the sound system was fantastic in that car.
Yeah, it was.
Super comfortable, heated seats and everything. It was honestly the best possible car I think I could have had in high school.
For your first car.
It was awesome. Like it literally
What
does
year
not
did
get
you
any
get
better
it?
than that. What year was that? It was my junior year.
2010,
So it was a couple
maybe?
years old. Yeah,
So,
like
it was only
a couple years old. Great car. Legitimately fantastic car. Was not perfect. Great car. But yeah.
What do you have now?
Now I have a 2012 Mini Cooper S. A lot of fun. Definitely a lot of fun. Very expensive for whatever reason.
How many engines have you put in this car?
As I specified last episode, okay, there are 2. It was not my fault. The insurance company broke it. Not my fault. Okay.
Putting blame on everyone else. I got it.
Yeah, but like I say to you all the time. Like I say to everyone all the time. Life is too short to drive boring cars. This kid's got a coupe. I've got a Mini. He's got a minivan. You got a Honda. I mean, like, come on. Like, 2 of us need to step up here. All right.
I don't have a car currently.
He really needs to step up. All right.
Yeah, but I haven't put a second engine in the car. All I've done is change
Moving
the
on.
brakes.
Moving on. Change the subject. So, in typical Zach fashion, I decided that talking about regular cars is boring. So I presented Tyler with a challenge, and Josh actually, who's going to chip in this time. Just like last time, we're going to see sort of what we came up with for this one. So the scenario is, and it goes along with our theme pretty well, if I do say so myself today.
That's a good idea.
You've got your first job. You've finally gotten your very first promotion. Doing well at work. You've been impressing the boss. So you decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to treat myself. I want to spend $20,000 on a car that's going to get my boss's attention and make myself look like the man. What do you buy? And I believe we should have a few options, right? A couple of choices.
I have a couple of choices.
So why don't you jump in first?
Oh dear. Okay.
And let me see photos. You got these pulled up. I'm actually really looking forward to this. If you come at me with another Honda like the last challenge, I swear to
I
God.
had a lot more room to give right now. Right?
Okay.
All right. So I found.
I spent $5,000 on a car and put the rest in the bank.
Typical Tyler fashion.
That would be the smart thing to
That
do,
would
right?
be, but this is
This
you
is
have
a
to
Zach
follow
challenge.
the rules.
You have to follow the rules.
All right. So I found a 2013 BMW 335i
Oh, I love this already. Okay.
in the classic BMW blue.
Okay.
And
Is it a manual?
yes, it's a manual.
What? Did you actually do a challenge right? Holy crap.
Yeah,
All right,
I
go
went
ahead, keep
I
talking.
went on Craigslist.
Tell me more, please.
82,000 miles on it.
That's a lot
I
for
know.
20 grand, but okay, keep talking.
Here it is. I know the picture isn't like
That's kind of nice, though, actually.
It is.
I'm actually kind of impressed, Tyler.
Yeah, it's nice.
and that like it's not like in your face, right? So like when you are trying to impress your boss, you don't want to get like some crazy outlandish car.
But it's definitely like, look, I dress well. I care about the way I'm presented. I like that. I think that's clever.
And it's 335i, so it's definitely like a driver's car.
Yeah.
So to the naked eye, it's just like BMW 3 Series, like 328i, but it's a little bit more fun, faster. So you still feel happy about it because it's like 335i.
Right. You're living the promotion. You're treating yourself a little bit. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's my first.
Okay, I like that.
I just look over and see Josh's face.
Josh just got this look of terror. So yeah, go ahead, share your car. What do you got?
because all right, I'll pull up the text.
This is gonna be good
the text
already.
that I got from Zach. Hold on. All right.
You have to read the text. I just explained
No
it to
worries.
everybody.
If you want to participate, here's one segment. You just got a promotion at work and need a new car to impress the boss. What's the coolest used car? Now, if you want to impress your
20
boss,
grand.
do you know how many times, his boss, do you think, probably looks at BMWs all day? Or Mercedes. So I was thinking...
Here's all the justification. I got myself a motorcycle.
So I'm thinking, if you want to impress your boss and show him something that he hasn't seen before, or...
Oh, God, this is going to be so bad.
Here's a 1974 Nova SS hatchback.
Oh wow! How much
What?
is it?
$9,800.
Josh,
Now,
do you have a
this
photo
thing-
of this thing? Holy
I have a photo of it.
I'm actually
yes.
blown away that you came out with this. This is
And-
awesome. I love this.
It's got 36,000 miles on it. For some reason, it's only 98,000 or
Does it actually
9,800. I don't
Have
know.
you read?
Yeah, it
Like
says
that
it says
far
it.
left.
Now I'm gonna show you guys. I don't know if you can pull up the.
I literally don't have any words. I thought Josh was gonna come out here with like some dumb idea. This is actually
well, you should
seriously
see my next car.
awesome.
Just wait till my next car.
All right, so just looking at it, the leather on the seats very cracked.
What does the outside look like though? Does the outside look good?
Yeah, the outside
Yeah,
looks
it's good.
nice.
His boss is not gonna be looking inside his car. I mean, come
Although
on.
it's like this,
He's got 10 grand to fix it up.
It's
Yeah,
it's very
true.
nice car, extremely nice car.
Oh,
It's
But you got 10 grand to use on it.
It's like this goldish
this
orange.
is awesome. The guy repainted the whole outside. It's goldish orange with like blue stripes. It's a manual. It's got flame floor mats. This is so awesome. I'm actually amazed that Josh came up with this. This is so cool. Oh my god, I love this. I want to delete my entire list now. That's so awesome.
Because that's what I was thinking. If you want to impress your boss, a boss is somebody that probably is with all of his friends have BMWs and Mercedes.
Yeah,
and
Tyler, stupid idea. Are you kidding me? You're an idiot.
Oh, okay, what's your idea?
gotta impress them.
All right, Zach.
Wait, do you want to hear my first one?
Yes.
Okay. 2008 BMW M5. Okay. But stick with me for a second here. So, Josh talked about impressing your boss. I don't think anything is more impressive than a V10 engine. So the 2008, that year of the M5 was the only section where you had a freaking V10 inside of a sedan. This same sedan also happens to be a manual. Okay. I mean, come on, look at this. Pearl white with black accent. Come on. Like, that is beefy. That is freaking cool.
It is beefy.
Right? Yeah?
That is a nice
kind of
looking
cool.
car.
It's $24,000. I'll talk it down to 20. It's okay.
Okay.
I'll talk it down.
There it is.
I'll talk it down.
You gotta drink.
I'll talk it down. It's bone stock.
I'll talk them
Zach, you gotta
down.
drink.
You gotta drink.
It's bone stock.
1, 2.
Are you even drinking?
You're good. That wasn't
I'm
that
taking
bad.
mouse sips. That wasn't that bad.
It's
So, do you
also-
have
it's also-
any
we gotta, like,
ideas?
No,
Or you just kick it
I,
back to us?
I'm not part of the car section. My job is to be unbiased and give an opinion.
All right, well, let me redeem myself a little bit here. I'm going to go for 2, actually, because I think I'm so confident in my second one that I'm going to go for 2. You ready for this? So what I did was what I did last time. I potentially purchase 3 different cars, right? 3 to cover my bases, so maybe Dylan, when he does his final judging, will find, some sort of sympathy. Do you want to take a guess, like last time, Tyler, what the second car is here?
Mercedes.
How did you even guess that?
Zach, we've been friends for a very long time,
How did you even guess that?
and I'm afraid what you're gonna say.
A 2013 Mercedes-Benz S400 S-Class. The price is, oh God, $27,000. I gotta talk it down. I thought it was like 22. I gotta talk this one down $7,000. Don't worry, I can do it. I worked in car sales. Super clean. Like, look at this guy.
Yeah, you gotta drink
Yeah,
again.
you gotta drink it.
I was
You
gonna
gotta
say,
drink again.
Let me show
You're
you
just making the
first.
same
Car
mistake.
sales.
Come on. Look at this thing.
Wait, real quick, you gotta drink.
I'm not
Black
listening
on
to you.
black, beautiful wheels with brown leather. Come on, man.
I'm not
Drink,
listening.
then
This is
explain.
this
Zach,
is the perfect executive's
Take
car.
a drink.
Come
Take
on.
a drink.
Guys, come on.
All right, 3 seconds this time. 1, 2, 3.
This is also mixed drinks. This isn't like beer or anything.
There's too much vodka in this. Holy crap. I'm sweating. Okay. But so anyways, I think that's a fantastic 79,000 miles. That's worth it. Thing is gorgeous. That's going to probably be nice in your boss's car, actually. That's going to blow Tyler's crappy BMW out of the water.
Yeah, but you don't want to blow
You
the
know.
boss out of the
Yeah,
water.
you can't get a nicer car than the boss.
Yeah, because you're going for the boss's
wanna
job.
impress, not-
Everyone knows you're going for the boss's job the whole time. All right. Well, what do you have, Tyler, if you're so cocky with your stupid jacket on? What do you got?
Freezing down here. All right, I have.
Don't be insulting my choices.
So I have. I have 2015
This isn't a BMW again. I'm going to hurt you.
Mercedes-Benz
Is
CLA.
it a C-Class? You.
CLA 250.
Why would you spend that much money on a CLA?
It's a nice car.
Dude, people who work at McDonald's drive CLAs. They retail for like $28,000. You can buy a used one for like 15.
You gotta drink for that.
Yeah.
What do you mean? No, that's logic. What are you
Take a
talking about?
drink.
Such a douchey
No,
thing to say.
that is not a douchey thing to say. It's a fact. The CLA is the cheapest Mercedes they manufacture. Everybody and their mother drives a CLA. That is not a car that would impress anybody.
Yeah, but his is also under 20 grand.
Yeah, unlike any of your
Ooh.
cars.
You have to find a
Yeah,
car
you haven't
that's
even
under 20
qualified
grand.
This is
yet.
You
called,
haven't even-
this is called
none of your cars-
creativity. Well, my third one almost qualifies.
Exactly. None of your cars
No,
qualify.
because I'm going to talk them down and get them for $20,000.
All right, so you're out of the running.
Yeah.
No.
Let's hear it.
No, I want to hear Josh's.
All right, let's hear Josh's.
Shut, you guys are awful people.
All right.
I hate this.
So, going on my theme, I figured it'd be a good idea to buy a 1925 Model T coupe.
I love. Can he become a permanent guest, please? This is so great.
What would be more impressive than watching that pull into your parking lot at work?
Isn't that the car that has like the crank starts? I was like working at like 5 p.m. You got Josh the phone. I'll see you later, boss. Trying to pull the crank.
Yeah, but that's my last car. Because my other one's
1925 Model T. How much was that?
that
have
one
a
was
roof?
only 7,900.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's got a roof.
Perfect. So, Josh, can I borrow that extra 20 grand you had to pay off these 2 cars?
No, I will not loan that to you. But yeah, that was it for me because my next one's a 1938 Buick 8, which is actually pretty cool
Josh,
looking.
what are you looking at?
That is
Where
really
are you
cool.
finding
It's
this
cool.
stuff?
Let me see.
But
Not one of Josh's cars is actually like
Runnable.
or practical. Like
impressive. It's still
they are all impressive.
You just
They're
gotta
all,
get it to work. You tow it a little early. You show, oh, hey, boss.
Josh
let's get out
is
here.
going to show up with Dylan's old minivan and these cars on a trailer.
Yeah. Hey.
He just pretends to drive. They're actually not running. Just pretends to get in them. Oh, Tyler, what do you got for number 3?
Number 3. I have a 2003 Porsche 911.
Finally, Tyler comes out to play. Okay, here we go.
So
Tell us about it.
it's let me see, 53,000 miles on it.
Nice. Okay, it's a
Well,
996.
he said it
Yeah.
was garage kept, so I
Okay.
pretty much just leaves it in the garage. It looks like he kind of like added stuff to the car, so like different types of. He said numerous aftermarket parts, to name a few: exhaust, swipe bar, intake, backup cam, rims.
It's kind of cool.
So
That's
he
cool.
it was like a mod 911.
Yeah, it's kind of
So
cool.
it's black with or tan with the black.
And it's around 20?
It's exactly 20.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a really nice car.
That's actually kind of cool looking. Even though it's got like the shark fin headlights, I never actually really minded those that much. A lot of people hate them.
So it's not like your authentic like 2003 911, but it's definitely
cool.
like a head turner because it's Porsche 911 with little like nice stickers on it, you know?
Yeah, that's
New
kind of cool.
rims, fin tail, stuff like that.
I
And it's a
actually really
manual.
like that.
So
I really like that.
there. Did I finally impress you with?
No, you did actually. Like I thought, but see, you actually didn't though. That's the thing. You really didn't, because I thought to myself, I'm not going to put a Porsche on my list because that's too obvious, and Tyler's probably going to put one on there to try and impress me.
Did you pick a Porsche last time?
I did.
He did.
I did. But Tyler knows this game now, so he's going to pick a Porsche. He's going to try and act like he's big shot. Here's my last car.
Then again, all my cars-
2009 Corvette, black on black with a 6-speed, 500 horsepower. It's tuned.
How much
Actually,
is
it's
it?
just under 500 horsepower. $23,000. I'm going to talk
Well,
it
I'm
down
gonna
to 20.
talk down.
I'm going to talk it down to 20.
To
No,
sell
no.
cars for a living.
I'm going to talk it down to 20. Everything's 10 out of 10. Great tires. Great everything else. Powder coated. Like, the guy actually cares about the... Come on. Like, this is a beast, man. Look at this thing. This is sick.
It is
I don't know
nice.
why the pillars are lopsided, and they're very small, but you can probably see it
Artsy.
from a distance.
Get the right angle.
Come on, man. Like, that'd be cool.
It's
It'd be
nice.
super loud. So it's a Chevy.
to
It's
reiterate,
practical.
None of your cars
Shut up. It doesn't
qualify.
matter. Like,
They were all over 20,000. There's no evidence that you would be able to talk them down.
so we've got Honda Accord Coupe. Oh, wait, that was last. That was your stupid idea from last week.
But for I say
what,
$5.
what was the other one?
I don't remember last time.
I mean, so we have 911 from you.
Yeah,
We've got
CLA and
the stupid CLA that was awful, horrible choice. And what was the other one?
335i.
And the 335i, the fantastic. Actually, it wasn't a coupe though, so it's an okay choice. And my fantastic S class, my gorgeous M5 with a 6-speed, and this great Corvette looks fantastic.
all over
And
20,000.
Josh's
Model T.
turn of the century vehicles. Three of them that he found. That while they may impress the boss, they may not actually make it there when it rains.
Yeah, Josh, can you prove that one of
snows.
these will run?
the Buick he showed us in a garage, like on a trailer.
I will pull it up.
Yeah, I don't know about the first one you had
1930s
must be.
Buick with
Yeah.
a Model
Yeah, the
T.
first one I had was a good one. The other ones...
Yeah, but he had like 10,000 spare on each of them.
Where are you gonna find tires for a Model T, Josh?
Hey, like Dylan, I'm
God,
not a
this
big
commute
car
is
guy.
awful.
The only thing I'm worried about is gas pedal working and the brakes, but...
You just gotta get there. So am I making my judgment now?
So
Yes.
I think it's time for Dylan to make a judgment. So we have 3 cars.
And to be fair to Zach, just like let him
I know.
fantasize.
I'm
that-
gonna get mad because
the-
he's gonna make the wrong choice. I can already feel it.
I'm gonna have to give it to Josh, the guest, for creativity. I know.
All right, cut the podcast. I'm out. See you guys. We're done.
Just for I don't know. I feel like both you play to your suits as great cars, from what I understand.
I'm with you. Yeah.
I just feel like Josh's creativity. I mean,
he did.
He's out of left field. I did not expect. First of all, I didn't expect him to show up with anything. Was the first thing.
Or show up at all.
or show up at all. That I did not. That is actually the coolest. I love being surprised like that. That's
but if you have the
fantastic.
confidence to show up with one of those cars,
especially the bright orange Chevy Nova,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
That thing is probably
That
super
is
loud.
sick.
So
Go
you
buy
just-
that, Josh. You need a new car. Go buy that.
because with this challenge, you always have the fear of getting a car that intimidates your boss, which could
the
be
S
fine.
class,
Yeah.
maybe.
Or you could come off as a douche
The
who
M5.
like thinks they know cars, which I don't think you guys. I thought all your cars were. It wasn't like you picked just a regular car that anyone would go get.
Exactly.
But if you have that confidence, you're gonna stand out.
Because that could also be like a conversation starter and start talking to your boss about that car, and then it just turn like making your relationship with your boss even stronger.
You just need to lean against said car until your boss drives away, so he doesn't know that it actually doesn't work. But
What websites did you guys go on?
Craigslist.
Craigslist.
Always
Yeah, well,
Craigslist.
with Craigslist, you could get killed in the middle of the field going to get this car. So I mean,
But hey, you saved 10 grand, Josh. That's the most important thing.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Yeah, especially if you try to talk them down $7,000.
That's right. He's getting shanked.
Yeah, exactly.
But this kind of car challenge, especially this last one, kind of ties into our theme of that, like, we're all graduates, right? We all have jobs, and or even like trying to find new jobs.
Right.
So we're gonna talk about like finding our first job or in the process of finding our first job. So Zach, why don't you, or even like past jobs too, because Zach and I know we have some funny stories of our first jobs and like what we used to do, like in high school, what was our jobs and stuff, to leading up to now.
So it doesn't have to be your first job, but like something,
A memorable job.
a memorable job and a story attached to it.
Okay, well, I've got a couple actually. I had my own lawn mowing business when I was 12 or 13. That's the first job I ever had. I probably had up to like 4 or 5 lawns at one point, including my own, which I got paid $25 for. Cha-ching. But then I guess I would just literally be out there mowing my own lawn, and people would literally come up to me and just say, "Hey, can you mow my lawn?" I'd be like, "Sure," for $30. I'm like, "Okay." So that's where I started, and I just kept raising the price every little bit for each lawn I contracted with, and it worked somehow. So that was that. Made a tidy little living, as a 12-year-old. But yeah, it was awesome. That was a great first job. Besides the manual labor part of it, it was fantastic. But my first real actual big boy job was at Chick-fil-A. That was literally the worst job
How
I
long
have
did that
ever
last?
had. That probably lasted 6 months. Awful job.
The pleasure's mine.
Horrible people. Horrible people. I got roasted for not knowing the menu all the time. I got roasted for talking to customers too long because I'm such a personal guy. I got roasted for dumping the milkshake stuff all over the floor by accident. Like, what do you want from me, man? What do you want from me?
So my first legitimate job was at a nursing home at Penswood Village.
Great. Good times.
I was, you could call me a dishwasher, right? So at a nursing home, you see some interesting things that come back in the used trays, dentures, insulin needles, mushed up food. And I love this job so much that Zach actually applied for the same job I had. And
I was looking for new opportunities. Chick-fil-A was getting a little old. Okay.
so Zach and I worked together for a few years, or actually a couple months, and it was fun. And then I quit because I hated it, and I played soccer, so I didn't want to keep playing. So I quit, and then maybe not a week or two later, Zach quits, and then we were kind of unemployed for the rest of our high school career. But that was my first job. Josh, what was your first job?
Well, this was all in high school too for you guys, right?
Yeah.
My first job was, like 5 months ago, right out of college. Throughout high school, I just played sports, didn't really do a whole lot.
Prodigy.
He
Baseball
was
prodigy.
Josh is a D1 pitcher.
Was
Was a D1
Was.
pitcher at Rider University, so he had other commitments.
Yeah, so my first job was at the golf course, Jasna Plana, which was a great opportunity.
I feel like that must have been kind of cool. I mean,
No, it was really cool.
Because, like you said, it's your first job. It's a different, unique experience. I mean, isn't that what you want from your very first job, though, too, is to actually, like, get out there, learn something new, do something stupid, even if it was from you working at Chick-fil-A, or
Make enough
Tyler
money to buy a
working
video
at the
game.
nursing home, or Dylan
I
selling
didn't get
drugs.
to it yet, yeah.
It's a different, unique experience, right? So, and,
Yeah.
you know, I know it wasn't the perfect job from what you told
I mean,
me, but
yeah, it's
I think
golf
you
course
learned something
maintenance.
from it. I
I
mean,
literally raked bunkers. That's all I did.
Well, what'd you say?
Raked.
is that like a euphemism for something, Josh?
Great.
All I did was rake the bunkers. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's a hard day at work just raking bunkers. You know what I mean?
How about you, Dale? What was your first job?
Oh yeah.
I worked a lot of weird jobs. I taught music lessons for a while. One weird job, I guess it was really my first job, was feeding cats for the neighbor.
Classic. I remember that.
Yeah, I got a lot of good stories for that. But I actually want to talk about. So I did freelance work. I still do freelance work, audio freelance work. So my first semester of college, I contact this guy, put in a bid. He's doing a short film, and he says he's willing to pay $13 an hour, which is a lot of money then to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, he comes to my house, never met him before, and he is filming this black comedy that is called Rumspringer. And it is about
it's this one.
is about basically Amish people who become gangsters. And so he shows me the movie. It is extremely offensive. But you know, when you're starting out as freelance, you got to take what you can get. I'm basically like, I will never put this on my portfolio, but I will do it, and it'll be good experience. So what ended up happening, I had to go to school. I basically, once a week, I would take a train to Norristown from North Philadelphia. He would pay for an Uber to come pick me up. I would come to his house for 3-4 hours, Tuesday afternoon or Saturday morning, whenever I was free. This guy was always available, always paid me in cash, and every time he paid me, he said, "Can you wait outside for a second?" As if he had this big pile of cash that he had to go pull from. So
Are you kidding
he
me?
either dealt drugs or he inherited a lot of money. So
That he kept in all cash in his bedroom.
yeah.
Now, was
his
this dude
mattress.
Amish?
No, he was not.
That would make sense.
No, so it ended up.
God.
This guy was really nice. I was very sketched out at first. I probably worked 250 hours on this over the course of my first semester of college. So I got paid a lot of money under the table. I edit that out for just in case. Taxes.
IRS, if you're listening, he declared all of that money.
Anyways, I finished the movie. I am yet to see it get released. I haven't talked to the guy in a while, but that was one of the weirdest jobs I've
We
ever
need to
worked.
get a copy of that movie and watch it one night.
He's still
It'll be the
negotiating with all the
next-
major theater chains, you know.
It'll be the next cult comedy, The Room.
That won the
That
Golden
would be
Globe.
sick.
Was Tyler Perry in it by any chance?
No, I feel like a lot of people, especially in that industry, probably have a lot of sketchy stories like that, especially trying to like
Yeah.
Make it.
establish yourself. There's probably, you have to do some sketchy things.
Yeah,
Hey,
like,
man, everyone's
parts-
working in a basement in Norristown, all right? Like, everyone starts
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta do it. It wasn't porn. It wasn't.
It could have been
It
worse.
could've been
That's
way
true.
worse.
Yeah.
I do have my limits. I hope I get to a point where I can say no to podcasts like this where I'm not making any money.
Wow.
We
But-
suckered
I
him
think
in.
that was.
We got him on a 3-year contract deal for now, so we're good.
We'll pay you in absolute vodka and.
Free ads.
That's right.
So
my
I think
God.
we wanted to talk about just getting your first job. So I know 2 of you have a full-time job. I mean, Josh and I work full-time, but it's not exactly where we want to be. The 2 of you are kind of a step ahead of us. So if we want to talk about just like the
Air five.
process.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm actually curious to, and I think this is something we can actually rope everyone in on. And I was curious to see what you guys thought. I know Tyler and I have talked about it at length a few different times. But so where do you go, or where did you go initially to find the job you have now? Where are you going now to look at new jobs? Is there anyone in particular that's, I guess, worked for you guys? Any person you've talked to that's really helped you guys? Josh, do you have any insight at all?
Well, it's just been Indeed.
Right.
Indeed.com basically, and that hasn't really helped that much because especially you have to have a really focused search in order to for that to be beneficial. And if it's not, then you just get a lot of random minimum wage jobs that
disguised as business
Interesting.
analysts.
exactly.
Oh my
that
God.
You don't even need a college degree for.
Can make up to $80,000 a year.
Potential.
Exactly.
That's right.
So I think a lot of it's word of mouth and finding connections.
Right.
But you don't find that on Indeed, so that's why I'm where I am.
So you have to know what you're looking for then, I guess,
Yeah.
if you go before you go on there.
Yeah.
And that's what's kind of handcuffed me with baseball and all that stuff. I haven't really searched things I would want to do. So when baseball is done and I had nothing to do, I didn't know what to do. So that's where I'm at right now.
So my dad told me something. I've had some good conversations with my father last couple months. So my dad he's currently the senior director of talent
A company.
A company, Tyler.
Johnson and Johnson.
Senior director of talent acquisition at a company, Johnson & Johnson, for over 15 years. He hasn't been senior director, but he's worked his way up. So he's been in like the HR field for over 15 years, and he told me that it is your chance of getting a job for just pressing apply on Indeed is less than 1%. So if you just go on Indeed and find that, oh, that job seems cool, and just hit apply, answer a few questions, and just let it go, your chances of getting that job is less than 1%.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally all about networking or knowing someone who knows someone. Like, literally how I got my job now was I was watching my youngest brother play lacrosse, and I was just talking to one of the dads of a teammate of Matthew's, my brother, and I was just, I'm in college looking for an internship, all that stuff, and he said, hey, why don't you just come work for me? And it kind of just, I was like,
I'm making this dark comedy.
and so I was like, sure, why not? I looked up like his website, just saw what they're all about, and then I was just like, sure, I worked for them, did some like random stuff. They were like in the process of moving like offices to a different location, so I helped them out with that, and then it kind of just progressed into my job right now. And when my dad told me that a couple of days ago about like networking, and I was like, wow, like that's literally how I got my job, was just talking to some dad on the side of a field, watching a lacrosse game, and now I have a full-time job, benefits, and like 401k and all this stuff. And I was like, wow, that is very true. And I'm like in the process of maybe finding a new job, not like actively looking, but like
If anyone's looking for
if anyone's looking for an operational like assistant or anything. But like, so like I'm talking to all these different people like that know people, and I'm having like different conversations, and like I'm actually making all these steps to like get even closer to getting jobs. So it is really all about knowing someone.
And that just goes to show, always be on guard for that, I guess.
And I think like my dad says, do one thing every single day that's out of your comfort zone to get you closer to your goal.
Right.
Always have a goal, like a career goal, like a career path. So like you want to be at this level. So do a step every single day to get you out of that comfort zone, to get you closer to that. So if that's talking to some random person, you're at a party, talking to an older person that's like more experienced and has some knowledge, talk to that person.
Just talking to someone in line at Wawa or whatever.
Exactly.
That's, just getting in the habit of doing that. I honestly think you're exactly right. And this is probably a whole nother topic for a whole nother episode we could spend on preparing yourself for future goals and everything. But I think you're exactly right in saying that the more you can do today, or physically doing anything today to help yourself for the future, is a good thing. And those connections, like you mentioned earlier too, I think that's invaluable, particularly today over the past 5 years even. I think that's where things have been going, is that it's all about who you know. Unfortunately, for some people, it's all about who you know, if you don't have those connections. But I feel like some way, somewhere, old bosses, aunts, uncles, friends, parents, there's somebody that you can have a conversation with, tell them what you're looking for, and ask for help. And I think asking for help is really the most important thing. And even just, again, talking about your career goals, talking about what you want to do, again, is incredibly important. I think that is what really will set you up for success and the potential for finding that job. I don't know how it is for every industry, but maybe, I'm not sure about audio where you are, Dylan, but I mean, at least for sales and business, this type of stuff, that's how that works.
Yeah, I mean, when it boils down, like, everything's a business. Whether you're working for a school, like, schools want the best teachers, hospitals want the best nurses. And kind of like you're saying, I think it's hard for some people because they're like, well, I don't have any connections. It's like you're living on your own, you don't talk to your parents much, or like you didn't go to college or whatever. But I think just making that extra phone call, like I was applying for a job the other day, and thankfully there was a phone number there, and I just called and I was just like, hey, like I just wanted to say, like, I submitted my resume and kind of have like something that you can ask. So I was like, I have some other documents, like I have letters of recommendation I want to send over, but there was no link. Like, could you give me an email to send? And they gave me like the head of HR. And just because when it boils down to it, a lot of times all resumes are going to kind of look the same. So you're doing whatever you can to stand out. So when someone looked at my resume, I might be comparable or lesser than other people that they're looking at, but they're going to say, oh, that guy called in and he seemed really nice. Because it's so hard to go from, like, I've been turned down by so many jobs in the last few months, but every time's been me applying on LinkedIn or something. But anytime I've interviewed with someone in person, I've always gotten the job, which some people, it's just, if you're good at talking to people, then do it from the first step, like whether that's calling or...
And that's just getting that foot in the door. I think you're exactly right. That extra step. So you got to think, maybe the whole time when you're applying for a job, you got to think, do something that no one else is willing to do or would do, right? And you're exactly right. Come up with a great question to ask, or just something. Provide some sort of value, because you never know if that'll help. Spend that extra 30 seconds to make that phone call. Send that extra email. Thank them. Anything. I mean, I think anything can really help, especially with how competitive everything is now.
Back to like my dad's like very like knowledgeable about all this stuff, and I've learned this even from school that, all right, employers, HR department, they look at your resume for less than like a minute. Like I think that's the average. Like it's literally like they skim through it, see anything, and then they just next to the next one. But like even when you're in that interview, if you say, I'm willing to learn, I'm a hard worker,
right?
My dad says you and a million other people are that same person. So it's all about what you're passionate about. So like for me, I'm a production scheduler, so I'm in the operational field, right? So it's like I'm passionate about finding bottlenecks and improving the project flow. Like that's what I'm passionate about. So when going into an interview, don't say I'm a hard worker, I'm going to work hard to do this. No, I'm extremely passionate about fixing and making everything more efficient. Like that's what will set you apart from I'm a hard worker and I'm able to learn fast. Like everyone says that.
And I think you're able to, there's something like psychologically or that shows in your face when you're passionate about something that really causes people to like you and to engage with you better a lot. So you're exactly right. And because even saying that you're passionate about steamrolling problems, breaking bottlenecks, that type of stuff. And then often 9 times out of 10, you'll follow that up with an example naturally. You don't have to prepare for that. It'll just come out. It'll be to see how much you actually do legitimately
Because if you
care.
are truly passionate, you have this whole like thing in the back of your head, like of what you're actually passionate about and what you have been passionate about in the past. So it's just like in the back of your head and you have all these examples.
Absolutely.
And you could say you're not even a passionate person, but I feel like what people need is sometimes to fake it. Because a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm not that person. That's not my strength. But if you fake it and you like...
Fake it until you make it.
Fake it till you make it, yeah. If that's not your strength and like calling and being social, and if you have like that, that courage within you, I guess, to just fake it and to give it everything you have, then,
And the worst that happens is they say no, or like you're never going to talk to them again. So you call and you mess up talking to them, then just move on to the next person.
I think I realized how Josh got this job. He rolls into his interview, he goes like, hey, look, man, Parents been taking me to the beach ever since I was a kid. Yeah, I've just found myself just bringing a rake with me, just shoveling that sand. I don't know why. I've just been drawn to it,
Douchebag.
Too bad this cup's empty. I did that on purpose. Good luck.
We do have a bottle of vodka right
I said
here.
the douchiest thing I can because it's empty.
All right. Well, I think we've covered quite a bit today. Josh, great to have you here, man. I'm really glad you were able to show up
Thank you.
to skip the Steelers game for us.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
Another update.
Oh, God. Here we
Steelers
go.
got a touchdown, 35-28.
Can we just close out? Please? Can you let me close out without interrupting me?
Bye,
Anyways,
Amy and
to all
Christina.
of our viewers at home, Amy, Christina, thank you so much for listening. We do appreciate it. Maybe Dylan will toss a donate link or something on there. Any money is appreciated for production and alcohol costs. They are mounting quite quickly. Feel free to rate us on iTunes. Give us 5 stars if you like what you heard. And we will see you guys next week. Basement Dwellers, we are out.